What is up, my friends? So we're pretty much back on board going with the linear storyline of Lovecraft Country after the last episode where we pretty much deviated a little bit, but I think that's more because that is going to fill in some backstory we're going to find out about pretty soon. So pretty much we're going to be seeing a lot of this start to develop further and further more, and 3 episodes left after today's episode, so the end is coming unless they do a second season, which they might because the show is pretty popular. So first and foremost, this was a Hippolyta heavy episode, and she had taken the backseat for a while, and it pretty much went with the episode as well because she pretty much talks about how she felt she was pretty like a side character of sorts, and her whole personality and everything about her was sort of shrinking as she went. And we saw that. We saw that always be pushed to the back seat, but not anymore. It pretty much starts with her going to investigate what actually happened to George. We see her ending up in the burned estate, and she goes to look for some answers, which she does when she finds the comic book that Dee actually gave to George. So she knows that a lot happened here. And so now she knows that Tick was lying to her about Uncle George being shot by a sheriff. And so this is making her furious, and she's now like, I need to unlock the truth about this with the things she found in Letty's house. I believe it's in Ori. And so what she ends up doing is actually solving it, and she finds these coordinates, which she ends up going to, where she finds this big machine that is like a, I don't even know what you would call it, how it looks and all of that. It ends up being like a projector for portals of sorts. And so the police are guarding this for Captain Lancaster, and of course we also find out that Captain Lancaster is somebody who Christina is trying to like take down. Now, her reasoning behind it, I didn't buy it that much. I'll make another video talking about what I really think her reasoning behind that is, but we see her talk about this as well. So, however, this is Hippolyta's episode, so we will talk more about that in the future. But what we end up seeing is that the cops are actually guarding this for Captain Lancaster, so they show up. She tries to hide, but they end up finding her, and things are about to go sour when suddenly Tick appears. Now, Tick was finding out about his mother's side, and he ends up seeing a picture of his cousin Ethel that this woman had, and she pretty much tells him like that she had heard about the Book of Names and that it was something that was talked about, but she wasn't sure exactly what it was. And then she shows him some pictures of her, and he notices the same birthmark that he has as well on Cousin Ethel. So things are getting a little bit stranger, aren't they? However, Letty advises him to go after Hippolyta after she realizes that she went back to the burned estate, and he does. And so that's when we see him pop up to save the day. But things start to go even worse when we see that the machine that has been turned on by Hippolyta just a while ago actually starts to open up a portal, and Tick just throws in one of the police officers in there, and that was hilarious. The other one ends up getting shot by Hippolyta, and then what happens is they get sucked into the portal themselves. They end up in, we don't see Tick what happens to him, but we see Hippolyta end up in sort of another realm, maybe distant future, other universe, different reality, whatever you want to call it. They don't really explain it. It doesn't say years or anything. It just says coordinates. And then we see that Hippolyta can now pretty much become whoever she wants to be, according to this other being that ends up talking to her about not being exactly in a prison, but just she can do whatever she wants. So she hops through time and even ends up with an alternate reality George by the end of it, where she learns to deal with what has happened to her, which pretty much is she's put herself to the side for marriage, for kids, for all of these other things, and let go of who she really is deep down. And she ends up finding herself as well on this spiritual journey and dealing with grief and all of that as well, which I thought was one of, like, honestly, I always say this is my favorite episode and stuff, but this series definitely has a lot of bright moments each episode, and it is very much so beautifully done as well. And so by the end of it, she does decide to go back to Earth, as the being tells her she can choose to just stay with them and become one of them. But she says that Dee needs her and she's going to go back. So we see the portal again, but we see only Tick come out of it, and he's holding Lovecraft Country books. So very meta, my friends, very meta right there. But no Hippolyta in sight, and he's looking for her, but then he has to leave as he hears sirens approaching, presumably for these dead officers now. And so he leaves, and then we as the viewers see that they left behind the comic book that Dee actually made for Uncle George. And so now it has her name and everything, so things aren't going to look good for the Freemans, right? And of course, now that Hippolyta isn't anywhere to be found, we see in the next episode, which by the way was giving me some Nightmare on Elm Street vibes, definitely. So super pumped to see that once it does come out. We see that the police and everybody is after Dee, and it looks like they are going to be questioning exactly what is going on and where is Hippolyta. And of course, we never saw Hippolyta make it out of the portal, so we're not sure if she's going to be stuck in this other realm or what exactly is going on. So it should be interesting to see. I think we're going to start seeing factions sort of form. As we heard, Christina is sort of trying to do something else that the Lancaster guys, and so I think that we're going to try and see her form some sort of alliance as well. Now, Hippolyta coming back from this portal with everything she knows, she could actually be a force to be reckoned as well, and something I think that is going to be valuable for Tick in trying to find out the secrets as well that he needs to in order to fulfill these spell books, the Book of Names, all of that. And so with these last 3 episodes, it looks like we are definitely going to be getting a lot more action. I mean, the next episode looks like a straight up horror. And like I said in the beginning, as I started watching this series, I enjoyed how they were jumping genres, mixing it up all together, and just giving us something unique and different than what we're used to, really, and sort of retelling all of these pulpy graphic stories in a different light than we've seen. And I like also how they interject sort of like speeches, poems, and all of this given by notable figures that deal with all of this. And I don't know why I sound like figures. Figures. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, you're all here to hear me work on my speech, aren't you? But yeah, nonetheless, a great episode overall. And I think that we're going to be seeing, as I said, the next episode really deal with the whole like police and everything being unraveled. There's a whole shootout going to happen as well, if we saw from the previews and all of that. I think that we will see Christina as well try to sort of make a deal out with Tick in order to help the family and be like, we can end this all, but we have to work together. You got to give me what I want, and we can go up against the police. So it's looking like the next couple of episodes are definitely going to be more heated than the rest were, and we're going to be getting something very interesting. And who the hell is that Freddy, right, with those really long fingers that we saw? I'm telling you, that preview, Freddy vibes, no doubt about it. But let me know your thoughts below. Are you excited? Are you not for the last 3 episodes? What do you think of the series so far? This episode definitely was more of a spiritual grief, trying to find yourself journey for Hippolyta, and I think she really got to that point. Now, where the hell is she? That's another question, right? Because we didn't see her come out, or maybe we did, or maybe she is just a higher being or something. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. Let me know your thoughts below. But anyways, if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. We should be at 16,000 by the time you're watching this, subscribers, and we're that much closer to 20,000. We're going to get there. We're talking all the things you love about culture, from music, movies, video games, all that stuff, and we decipher it, we unravel it, we dissect it, and we just have fun, right? Anyways, let me know your thoughts below. Follow me on Twitter at NerdRaw. Make sure you follow me here by subscribing, turning on the bell. I'll see you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.